Alright, this is our first Jaguar Mark II restoration, DIY restoration video. So this Jaguar Mark II has been with me for a while. I bought this car about 10 years ago. This is a 1961, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check the grant again. But I think it's a 1961 Jaguar Mark II. And well, that makes it 60 years old now. When I bought this car 10 years ago, it was not too long before it was restored. So it was restored some 10, 12, probably 13 years ago. Once. The job was okay. It was pretty good, I have to say. But mechanically, it was screwed up lah. It was completely gone. I had to overhaul the engine. All the running gears are all worn out. The brakes are in horrible condition. The suspension and the bushings and all are all in horrible condition. Every mechanical part, the clutch is gone. The gearbox is not great. So mechanically, I spent some 30 over thousand on it. I spent 30 over thousand on it to make it into a satisfactory condition. I'm not fully satisfied yet, but it's okay. It's okay. But recently, well, not recently, I think 6 months ago, there was a minor accident because the brake failed, which cost me another 8,000 ringgit to completely overhaul the brake system. So the brake failed and the driver couldn't control the car and it reversed. Basically, it wasn't a very serious hit, but it was, it reversed into a car because he was on a bit of a slope. So there was a bit of an accident. I can show you, it's at the back. So the bumper kind of hit into the car behind. You can see there, you know, I haven't get it done yet. So there was damage right there. It's not very serious, but I left it in the workshop for a couple of months because part sourcing and whatnot and PKP. It's all a bit difficult to manage. So while I was leaving it there, a lot of rust spots started popping up again. It's not the workshop's fault lah, but I think the restoration work is not perfect. It wasn't perfectly done. So a lot of parts of the car started to bubble up again. So you can see here, yeah, it bubbled up again. And I'm beginning to see some a lot more parts bubbling up. All of this just came up recently. Some of it came up a little bit earlier, but some of it came up recently. So all of this under the door, all of this, I think it's about time for me to do some work on it. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna attempt to strip some of this paint myself and see how bad the rust is. Yeah, let's see how bad. You can see the giant patch here. This is bubbled up. I think it is quite bad down here. Yeah, but I don't know what caused this. Very unfortunate. But in any case, yeah, I got it back in this kind of condition, so I think it's time for me to do a little bit of restoration. I think I'm going to do it myself. Part of it at least, part of the process, so I'm documenting it, so stay tuned. So what I'm doing now is that I'm taping off the parts that I don't want to sand, or I think may not need to be sanded. So I'm using a tape to tape off the parts that I don't want touched, so that I can contain the sanding to a smaller part and not damage the body parts that I think may not require attention. Alright, time to start sanding. So I start off with a 120. It's a little bit hard to find lower grade sanding paper here in a normal hardware shop. I'm sure you can get much rougher ones in proper hardware shop, but nearby I can't find any, and today is Merdeka Day, so I'm gonna have to make do. So as you can see, the layers are coming out already. The rusted metal, I still haven't reached that level. Above there, you have this layer, which I think is a primer, or well, this grey colour one is a primer. Beneath that there's a bit of a filler. So I need to get rid of that level also. Dust gets everywhere. Best wear a mask when you do this. The rust is quite serious. It's gotten a little bit Swiss cheese. It's not just a surface thing. It's gone in a bit. So I have a feeling it may turn into a hole. Not a very big one, but this is something you can work on it yourself actually. Okay, as you can see, I've reached the metal, but I haven't gotten out all of the rust yet. I may not go all the way through because it may turn into a hole. But when I'm satisfied that I've reached roughly everything, when I'm satisfied I reach a deep enough level, what I'll do is I'll anti-rust it, so it will convert the rust into something darkish in color and it will stay stable. And so you can, either send to a body shop, get it worked on, or paint over it yourself if you want to. As you can see, I've reached the hole. Yep, you can see the hole right here. Right, so all of these things have to be taken out, or else you're going to have a problem in the future. So preferably if you have a air gun or something like that, you can blow, clean up the surface a little bit for you to continue to work. I don't have it at home. I'll just do it with the mouth. So I'm using 320, a finer grade sandpaper to get to the crevices and the holes created by this rust. Right, so I found out what was going on with this part, this previous part we were working with. There's a bit of a tape gum residue inside that was trapping moisture because the seal at the window is not complete. As you can see, the seal of the window right here was not complete, and because of that, water does go in here, and the water find it quite difficult. Water find it quite difficult to drain out at the bottom, to the bottom, and it collects water. And because it is not sealed properly up here, it disintegrated over the years, not sealed properly up here, the piece of gum or tape that was left over here was collecting materials, dirt and grime and whatnot, and it just doesn't dry up. It just never dried because it's in this part here that was sheltered from sunlight and whatnot, and because of that, it's causing a rust that comes out from the inside. Yeah, the rust that comes out from the inside instead of rusting inwards from the outside. It causes that. So we have to solve that problem here. Probably we'll have to cut it a little bit bigger to reach whatever was the tape that was the residue in here. And as you can see, I'm already starting a new part as well. I most likely will find a way to drain, a way to drain the water at the bottom of the door. Maybe to drill a hole at the bottom so that water can drain out from that particular hole, so that you don't get collection of water inside there. But the proper solution is still to seal this, but the problem is you can't get the original seal anymore, and whatever seal that it came with when I bought this car 10 years ago has disintegrated into the doors of the vehicle itself. So that is the cause of the problem actually. Well, in that case, it's better not to seal then. It's better not to seal but to drain. Find a way to drain the water whenever it gets in. Right, so now I'm going to work on this part. I'm going back to the roughest sandpaper grade, which is 120. Right, so you can see that this door is done. A few spots, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots on this door has been grinded down to the metal. This is the first part. As you can see, there was a hole there. Yeah, it's quite serious. A little bit more treatment is required in this area, but I'll get to it in a bit. There is also this part. Yeah, as you can see, it's been sanded out into the metal. And as long as the rust is black in color, that's fine. But I have to scrape out a bit more. There's a small part here down here, but it's been sanded off already. This part has also been sanded off. Yeah, I decided to do a bit of the sides here as well. These are damages caused by opening the doors and whatnot and hitting a curb, and then exposing the metal, and the metal kind of rusts a bit. But most of it here is surface rust, so it's a very easy grind. So as you can see, this door is done. 4 spots. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots. So the next step is to clean it up. Clean it up with the degreaser and alcohol. And then is to anti-rust and to epoxy it.